Hello, my name is Molly Donahue. Today I'm going to present to you some findings about how people shop for natural beauty products. The goal of this research was to figure out how to make shopping for natural beauty products an easier experience. So first I want us to look at what are the concerns that people have when they're shopping for this type of product. And then I wanted to see what do shoppers currently do to mitigate their fears. Overall, I wanted to take these findings and try to generalize them into how that can be more useful to a larger group of people who want to try out these products for the first time, but maybe don't know where to start. And this research could be used by product designers or store display designers to make a better shopping experience. I looked at women who shop for natural beauty products that are ages 18 to 34. Women in this age group are the largest portion of the $13 billion cosmetics market. There's also been a 24% growth in the organic channel of products over the last 4 years. And in a recent survey conducted by Nielsen, 53% of respondents felt that all natural was an important in their buying habits today. So those are the reasons why I looked at women in this age group looking for this kind of product, as it seems to be an opening market that has a lot of design opportunities. So the research that I did, I started with field observations. I did 3 30-minute interviews or observations at peak and slower times at the whole body department in the Whole Foods store. I took notes when I was doing these observations, which I then summarized and coded, relating to the key research questions as I went along. And after that, I took the observations and I developed some questions about things I wanted to be able to ask people in store, but I wasn't able to since I was just observing. And I created those questions and I did 3 30-minute interviews with women that fit the target audience profile. I recorded, transcribed, and coded these interviews to analyze the data and then to connect that to my observations from the field, and also connected that to my overarching research questions. After doing these 2 rounds of research, I had lingering ideas and certain hypotheses about how people shopped, which I formulated a few questions to, and I did an online survey, which I sent out to 10 different participants. And with their data, I created and analyzed a series of graphs. These graphs, actually all these findings, I used to develop into sort of cohesive themes, to develop some suggestions that I will present to you now. The first finding is that the in-store experience greatly influences product selection. I found that I saw women opening and smelling 10 or more different products, kinds of shampoo, just to decide on which one they wanted to buy. I also saw that in store, people that talk to salespeople, that ask questions about ingredients or ask for a recommendation in a certain price range, these people tend to buy a product. These findings were confirmed in the interview when I heard people say that they like to hold products. They don't like to buy beauty products online. It's important that they hold it. And I also found that people say they trust the store a lot, especially first-time shoppers. They say, I trust Whole Foods. I trust I trust the Whole Body, the products they select there. I don't think they would sell anything that is not good. So I can just, sort of reduce some of the burden of picking out what to buy just by knowing that they've done the first step of research. This means that the in-store experience helps with the pain point of product selection. Determining what product to buy and why is greatly influenced by the salespeople and the store itself, and the holding products and reading the back of the labels is definitely important in helping to make a product selection and sort of bridge the gap of a lack of information about the products that even are in the store that someone trusts. Next, I found that reading ingredients greatly influences product selection. I saw them reading the back of product labels of nearly every product they touched. In an interview, someone said, I'm looking for how much of the back is ingredients versus what it does for you. So sort of trying to see the proportion of the effects that products will have versus just purely what they're made out of. There should be less about the ingredients and more about what they do. But the same people do still look for certain ingredients that they want to avoid, that they know they'll have a negative reaction to. And in this survey, people confirmed that reading ingredients was useful, but they wanted to know more about how the ingredients were derived, where they were from, and also how harsh they were. Reading ingredients definitely helps people with the pain point of product differentiation. They can better see if a product will be effective or if it will be harmful for the skin, if they will have a negative reaction. They do read the back of the labels to kind of try to figure these things out before they try them. And that leads to the next point, is that trying samples reduces fears. People, when available in store, I saw people liberally trying samples. They had no qualms about spreading a product all over their face in front of other people in the middle of a grocery store because trying samples is important. In an interview, people said that they liked samples, but they were only tended to be available for more expensive products, and they're not available at every store. So they felt like samples were only sometimes useful, and I see that as sort of a problem in the reduction of fear. Sort of a roadblock is that samples are not always available. And in the survey results, I found that people said a variety of reasons as to why samples were only sometimes useful. Sometimes the size, sometimes the price of like the price of the full size item was too expensive. And some people also said they had a negative skin reaction, and so they simply didn't want to buy the product after trying it. Trying samples helps people with the pain point of they have this fear that natural beauty products will not be effective or they will make their skin worse. And so trying samples helps people reduce that fear by either confirming that the product will make their skin worse, and thus they can try something else instead. And it also helps them to see if maybe a product will be effective. And so trying samples when they're available is definitely an important part of the experience, and helps people shop for natural beauty products, but it doesn't always, it's a system that is not completely perfected yet. The in-store experience could be improved if there were full-time salespeople who can help with product selection. In the whole beauty department, there was only a salesperson on the weekend when it was busier. And definitely people are always shopping, even when it's not at peak hours. So if there was always someone there to help answer questions about ingredients, that would be a really big first step that every store, not just Whole Foods, could make in helping people determine what kind of natural beauty products they want to buy. There also could be more incorporation of online reviews. One way to do this would be with QR codes that could be placed either on the products or near the prices of the products. That way people could use their phones to scan the code and maybe be linked to the Amazon review and sort of compare products in that way. And finally, there could be video displays or screens with content from beauty bloggers, with the features from magazines, or with YouTube makeup video bloggers. These would be useful in helping people sort of get more information about products that they have seen in stores maybe have seen, but they don't really know much about. And also could help people who aren't talking to a salesperson, maybe because they're occupied, they're not there, or maybe they just simply don't want to talk to a salesperson. They could definitely get more information, and the in-store experience could be even more powerful if there was more information about product reviews or how products can be applied.
It could be greatly improved if there were small containers next to full-size tester items of products. This would allow people who said that samples aren't available for lower end items, they could make their own samples, and that way they wouldn't have to be reliant on whether or not the manufacturer supplies them. This would also be useful for products that aren't typically available in samples or testers, such as shampoo or face masks, things like that people cannot always try in store. This would allow them the opportunity to take a product home and see if it is effective over time, and that would greatly improve the experience of mitigating some of the fears for a larger population of people. The labels could be more informative for people. The largest area should describe what a product does versus what is inside of it. But when there are information about ingredients, they could say where the ingredients are derived from or how harsh the synthetic ingredients are. That could help people decide whether or not that would make their skin worse if they might have a negative reaction. More information could be useful in that way. I also mentioned that QR codes could be applied directly to products. That way people could open it up and see, user reviews and see if, for their skin type, what other people found, whether or not the product was effective for them. Finally, I wanted to say that I started looking at this some in my survey work, but was unable to get a very clear idea of the different kinds of personas. And I think going forward, the natural beauty product industry needs to have a very clear idea of who exactly is buying these products. If there's a difference between a first-time buyer, the motivations of a first-time buyer, and someone who's really experienced in natural beauty products and kind of knows exactly what they want, but are just looking around in different ways. Information samples, the in-store experience could all be, more focused on the different kinds of things that people are looking for, and targeting that to different personas. The information on pre-made samples that could be useful, as well as the in-store information and handouts that could be tailored to a persona as well. Beyond that, QR codes for online reviews. I'd be interested to do more research into finding out how else online reviews could be incorporated into the in-store experience. Lots to see about that. Overall, I would say there's a promising future for reducing chemical reactions and harsh ingredients in natural cosmetics. And women, I was so surprised, are totally interested in talking about how they wash their face and have no qualms about opening up in that way. So I found this research to be really, an exciting thing to do, and it surprised me in that way. So I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who participated.